大家好，欢迎收看由英国蓝沙集团赞助的伦敦政经见地栏目。我现在所在的地方是英国皇家国际事务研究所，又名查塔姆研究所或七贤楼。这里亦是七贤楼原则的发源地，即承诺不会对外引述出席者的言论，以利自由讨论。由于这边的研究员常引领世界议题，美国外交政策杂志将其称之为非美国的第一智库。等一下，我们将在这边与于杰博士进行独家专访。英国公投决定退出欧盟，对外引发世界震动，对内亦对英国的政府产生连绵不断的余震。15日，在英国议会以史无前例的超大票数否决了首相特蕾莎梅的退欧协议，这又将对中国产生怎么样的影响呢？
As the world grows, as global growth shifts, even if it shifts from west to east, we are particularly interested these days at Chatham House to try to integrate our capacity to look at research on regional issues, on resources issues, on economic issues, on security issues, and pull them together to tackle problems that governments have to deal with in a joined-up way.
Faster and quicker than we ever expected, China and India have risen. In the West, Western governments, Western companies, we are ill-prepared. We're ill-prepared in terms of our policy, in terms of our knowledge levels, in terms of our ability to deal with the impact this will have on our economies, on our global politics, and on our environment.
Thank you so much, Dr. Yu, for being on our show. And what's the impact of Brexit on China and on the Sino-British relationship?
Victoria, thank you so much for the Student Union China Development Society to have invited me back to give this interview. Delighted, since myself has been long-term fun for the society itself. Now, to answer your question regarding what impact does Brexit has towards China-UK relations, I think the impact could be both positive as well as negative. So if we are talk about positive impact of the Brexit regarding Sino-UK relations, firstly, I could consider the most obvious effect is the pound sterling getting much cheaper. So it will be much easier, and it seems to have more added value for the Chinese investors to invest in London or in the rest of the UK. So that's for the positive side effect of it. But on the other hand, if we look at the negative impact, that seems to be much larger than the positive impact. So if we're considering UK has been one of the key members within the European Union previously to support China to regain the market economy status, and now UK could no longer play that role to advocate for China's interest to become a market economy, to gain that status within the European Union. So that's the negative impact number one. Now the negative impact number two is to what extent the UK could actually in a better position to negotiate a good bilateral free trade and investment agreement with China, because at the end of the day, UK only ranked the world number 7 largest economy, while China is the world number 2 largest economy. The sheer size of the two economies make a lot of contradiction. So UK is in a much weaker position to offer negotiation. So both positive and negative impacts on it.
What is the main reason behind Parliament's rejection of Theresa May's Brexit deal?
Oh, there are all sorts of reasons. I mean, I've never thought that politics can be so interesting, and many people are quite right. I mean, that old saying of one day in politics is too long, and that's exactly has happened on 15th of January, and also that's what happened on 16th of January as well. So just to think about, regarding Brexit, I mean, it has never really had any consensus among the British public, as well as within Westminster. That's one level. And then secondly, if we are talking about within the Brexiteers, and there's a different layers, a different agreement on what kind of post-Brexit EU-UK relations the two sides should construct. So nobody have that clarity. And then lastly, at the end of the day, we still have 48% of the population of this country wholly support UK should stay within the European Union. So the large majority have no agreement among each other. And then when we have this two-party system, bipartisan system, And both parties consider this would be their lifetime chance to clinch the power. And therefore, the disagreement, all sort of disagreement, got entangled all together, and that's where we have the backdrop and the backlogs on Brexit.
Is there any possibility that a no-deal Brexit is better than a bad deal? Could you analyze from a China's perspective or UK's perspective?
Well, no deal is a bad deal. I mean, I very much dislike the line from Prime Minister May on this, and I think somehow it will be for much better longer-term economic benefit of the UK to negotiate a more reasonable deal with the European Union. So I personally would prefer to have a deal, but if we are facing the no-deal scenario, and what would happen? Put it very simply, as soon as after 29th of March this deal passed, on the 30th of March, all the flights flying out of the UK will be grounded. So that's really the practical implication of having a no-deal Brexit. So obviously, having no-deal Brexit is, a disastrous result for this country. Now, from the Chinese perspective, is the Chinese government has always been very perplexed by exactly what UK want. Okay, you don't have a deal, and you don't want to remain within the EU, and then you don't want to give up all your privileges by being a member of the European Economic Union, with the world's largest trading club. So there's all sort of things. China was very confused about it. So from Chinese angle, I think the Chinese leadership also on the same page with leaders from the rest of the world. Exactly, British government, you should tell us what do you want.
What lessons could China draw from Brexit process?
Oh, there are actually many lessons one could really draw from the Brexit process. And firstly, referendum perhaps is a very democratic way of conducting and consult different opinions. But while having referendum, and we also need to consult and understand how much background information the wider public has received in order to make a proper judgment on the referendum, and that is on the government level. Now, on the party level, I would also say, put it this way, I think the Chinese Communist Party have learned a very hard lesson, which is one shall not externalizing internal party conflicts like what British Conservative Party has done in the past. And that will be really a disaster for the country, and how we have already experienced with this Brexit process. So the chaos is ongoing.
If there were to be the second Brexit referendum, could the benefits outweigh could it be more beneficial, in terms of democracy?
It could be answered in both ways. I mean, if we are talking about the beneficiary of the democracy, and I think people have voted back to 2 years ago, 55% of people agreed, and then therefore we should respect the tyranny of majority in this case. But then on the other hand, how should we satisfy the other rest of 48%? So even if we are called the second referendum on whether UK's membership towards the UK, and there is still no clear result, we could anticipate. So that the tricky question would be whether we have the audacity, firstly, to call the referendum, and if we call the second referendum and we end up in the same result, what can UK do?
Thank you so much, Dr. Yu, for being on our show, and wish you the best with your research at Chatham House.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
特蕾莎梅在16日晚间成功赢得了另一场表决，是由反对党工党提出的 confidence vote。反对党工党是希望通过不动议表决的成功，提前进行大选。虽然特蕾莎梅保住了相位，但是她却解不了脱欧的乱局。脱欧近在咫尺，各方的利益也是错综复杂。感谢您收看本期见地，我们下期再见。
The world's changing. It's absolutely obvious. The fundamental political, economic story of our times is the rise of Asia, the rise of China and India. And we will only be able to deal with that with good knowledge and good analysis.